Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Lads. What grumpy old Spurs, Dave? As we call ourselves, we haven't been here for a couple of weeks, but we are back. So thank you, the six of you, for joining in and watching us live tonight. Hope everybody's had a really good Christmas. But enough of the eating and drinking, isn't it? Dave, down in the bottom, joining us tonight. Looks like he's got a new mug there. Looks like he's got a new iPhone that he's deciding to do the show on tonight. And a new Spurs shirt, same as the old one, just newer. Is that right, Dave?
That is right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hello, boys. Nice to see you again. It's been a couple of weeks. I got my Santa got me an Oasis mug for Christmas, and my mum, who is a gooner, bought me this retro shirt. So delighted to be back on. We've got a few technical issues in Sydney, so we've gone cheese room lockdown old school. I'm doing this from the couch today.
Well, Dave, you look $1 million. So does Connor in the top right-hand corner. You had a good Christmas and everything, Connor? Obviously, you've had to watch Spurs a couple of times. I see you were on Last Word on Spurs the other day, having to talk about it as well. But how's it all going?
I was, mate. Yeah, all good, all good. Christmas was good. Merry Christmas to everyone in the chat. Merry Christmas to you both. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Other than Tottenham, obviously. Although we do get to do the show after a win, which feels quite the novelty. So I'm happy to be back on. Good to be back on with you guys as well.
Yes, Connor's dad, we have demoted Dave to the bottom because he couldn't get his internet working. So he's at the bottom today. He's on the naughty step. But yeah, I mean, like as you said, Connor, it's good to be back. It's good to talk about a win, but lots of context around that win. And obviously, we've still sort of got this divided fan base on what's going on managerial wise and what we're doing. We've got a transfer window to look forward to, which is always exciting, isn't it? But first of all, let's go through the team. Obviously, we weren't here after the Liverpool game, but Romero got sent off and Xavi got sent off. So was that when they announced the team, Connor, were you happy with that? I mean, as happy as you can be with a Spurs team that's put out lately. What were you thinking when that came up?
Yeah, I mean, we had a number missing, right? And I know, Dave, you want to chat about this a little bit later as well in terms of the number of players missing. But so we're a bit restricted in terms of who we could pick. With the suspensions plus injuries, Sarr obviously at AFCON. I think the only position really that was up for debate was who you pick on the left wing, really, given the players out and therefore who you pick in the nine. Obviously, went for Muani on the left, who I thought was pretty abysmal again after having a pretty terrible game against Liverpool as well. But yeah, I mean, it was sort of who he could pick. I think we'll come on to the actual performance and who played well in a second, I'm sure. But I think the team was fine-ish. And Palace obviously had a couple of players missing as well. They looked a bit leggy, I thought. So yeah, it was as expected, I think, given who was available.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Palace team that was picked, and then obviously saw our team at the same time. My first thoughts were, the team we're putting out is good enough to win this game. Like if Palace had been at full strength, maybe it'd have been different. But with both sides obviously down a few players, I don't know what you thought, Dave. I thought the team was still strong enough to go on and win. Performance and how it all looks is a completely different thing. But what were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't think there's much you could have done with that team in terms of starting lineup, obviously, because you got no Xavi, no Romero, who was an idiot against Liverpool. You've got Sars at the AFCON, obviously. I mean, when is Kulu coming back? This is like an ongoing saga. And then you got Solanke, you got Kulu and Solanke. And allegedly, and I'm not saying it's those two, but there was a rumour going around a couple of weeks ago that somebody's failed a drug test. I'm not saying who it is, not saying if it's true. That's what someone was saying on another show. And then who else have you got out? I mean,
Maddison.
The thing is, yeah, Maddison, he's out for the season. I mean, if you're someone like Tell, and you're someone like Odegaard, who we'll talk about later, and you're thinking, well, when's my opportunity coming? And here's another one, guys. Do you remember this bloke? Remember our Japanese signing who's got plantar foot or something? Where's he gone?
There he is. He was in the squad, wasn't he?
He's alive. Was he on the bench?
Yeah. He dragged him
Was
on the
he on
bench.
the was he on the bench with his big webbed foot like that you can get in a boot?
With his plants in his foot.
His plantar foot.
Yeah.
Well, he's been. I think he's been the signing of the decade. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, it's a special one again, that, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had plenty of them over the years, though, haven't we? I mean, hopefully we will get to. But like, this will be another discussion. But
yeah,
with where our season's going, do we want him dropped in against Villa in the cup, or do we want to be going for that? Don't we? Do you know what I mean? We don't want to see Davis, a back four of Davis, Dragusin, Takai, and somebody playing some random playing right back, do we?
And Terry Fenwick.
Yeah, but like, yeah, Dave. I mean. There wasn't a lot weak, but before we get into it, so we can talk about you saying about if you're Tau. I mean, let's be honest now. He's in January with all the noise that's going on. He's got to be heading out somewhere, hasn't he? Loan, or we should imagine loan first of all. The guy cannot get minutes at all.
And he is the first choice in the French national team, so we want him to get minutes so he can play in the World Cup, surely.
I think you're taking the mick there, aren't you, Dave? But the guy...
Is that a yellow card already, Gibbo?
Yeah, the guy just cut it. And we'll come on to like Odegaard's performance, because I thought Odegaard probably looked more lively in that period of game he had on Sunday than Tau probably has in a lot of the games he's played. It's just the fact that he can't get minutes. But, I mean... But we'll come. I think let's come on to all that when we start talking about maybe a few transfers and people moving in and out. But obviously, started the game, lots of possession for Palace, Connor. But we thought we'd managed to go 1-0 up. I mean, just before we scored, I'm bemoaning, just like, what Tottenham? What are we? You know, this is desperate to watch. I can't see us creating anything. Moaning about the fact how bad our football is. We try and play a bit of football. We score, fair enough, Bergval's offside, even though he's looking straight down the line. But that was a decent bit of football, wasn't it, Connor?
It was. It was a bit of a shot. I mean, the same with the second offside goal. I think both offside goals, we didn't actually get any advantage, really, from either of them being offside, you know, and both, as you say, both of them were good moves. They were both obviously offside, though. I think you're right. I mean, it was absolutely abysmal to watch. You know, there was not a single pattern of play on the ball, any passing through the midfield. Again, the sort of consistent game plan of throw the ball to Kudus and hope that he can beat three players and try and put some crosses in the box. But you're right, that goal was the first bit of football we'd actually put together. And to be fair to Porro, who I think has actually been pretty poor on the ball in recent weeks.
Yeah.
That was a world-class cross. It was a brilliant cross for Richarlison to finish. I think Richarlison was also offside, even if Bergval hadn't been. But yeah, it was good football, and so was the second disallowed goal as well. But those were the only moments, I think, until we got into the last sort of 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, Dave. Thoughts on the goal? Decent bit of football. Do you think Richarlison was unlucky, or do you think I was sat there with my lad, and he's like, "What can he do, Dad?" And I said, "I just feel like a real top. What separates a real top striker is they just do hold back. I mean, I know it wasn't him; it was Bergval, but like Connor said, he would have been off anyway when we come on to the second one as well. A real top striker just holds back that split second and gives himself that bit of time so he's not off and plays it in. But I mean, maybe that's being hypercritical. But decent bit of play at that time, Dave, after a load of dross.
Yeah, well, it was a decent bit of play. But to your point, you know, obviously arch do-gooder Gary Lineker, one of his strengths, if anyone remembers from the days of him actually playing a game of association football, was that the way that he exploited spaces in the box and times his runs was one of his great strengths, which was helped his career and become the scorer that he is. Richarlison reminds me of Chris Armstrong in that he can't actually play the line. He's never been. He get the number of times he gets caught offside. I'm sure that if we were on a top tier YouTube show, we would then automatically flash up on the screen the number of times Richarlison has been caught offside in his career. But we're not,
Yeah.
and I'm sat on my
Unfortunately,
couch.
we're not.
I'm not, and I'm sat on my couch drinking out of an Oasis mug. But the fact of the matter is, on good old fashioned kind of looking at someone, he's basically he can't read the line. I mean, he's got now what 8 goals this season or something. Is he
7
now?
goals in the
Not in
league.
the league.
Yes.
What's his league? What tally has he got in the league? Connor?
7 goals in the league, 3 assists. I think to be fair to him, I mean he's one of only 7 players in the league that's got 10 goals and assists this season, which we've all been really critical of Richarlison, and I'm not for one
Mm.
second suggesting that we don't need to upgrade
Yeah.
him. But I would say, I mean, he's done okay this season. He's done better than
Oh,
some other players, right? I think
But-
that's for sure.
it tells you what a low bar it is, though, doesn't it, Connor? Because he has been all right, but it's the same sort of thing like with the Brennan Johnson was scoring goals, but his all-round play wasn't contributing enough to make the team better. Now, one thing I'd say about Richarlison, and especially yesterday, I'd say yesterday was probably one of the best games I've seen him play for Tottenham.
I thought he played well.
His link-up play was a bit better, and even when he knocked that header through to Odeberry, went through and had that shot that hit the post, he actually looked like this sounds mad, he looked like he knew what he was doing, and that's what he was. Whereas a lot of stuff with Richarlison, it's chaos, isn't it? It's all swinging your body and fucking
swinging your body
around. Yeah, just like it all seems a bit chaotic. But parts of his game yesterday seemed like he knew what was going on around him, and he was more aware. But yeah, yesterday I thought he had arguably his best game for Tottenham in a game as bad as that.
I think with Richarlison, you know, we were chatting in one of the chats about this, Dave, with Ferg. I think Ferg made the point at the same time I made it. You know, in the sort of first 5 minutes whether Richarlison's going to have a good game or not.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah.
It's whether his head's in it. I think, to be honest, I think he has stuff going on, right? Mentally, you know, that it's been well documented, and it seems like he's the type of player that needs to have his head in the game or not, whether he's going to turn up. And, you know, he often works hard. I don't think you can ever really dispute that. I think what he lacks is that ability to hold the ball up, right? And I think we all know that. And as I said, we still need to upgrade him, but I think he's had a number of decent games this season compared to some other players that haven't. To be honest, I think you could probably pick out 5 or 6 games. You could go, yeah, Richarlison had a really decent game today. Actually, and I'm not sure we could have said that in the last couple of years because he's been injured after.
he's dropped some absolute stink bombs as well, hasn't he?
And he's dropped 5 or 6 absolute stinkers as well.
And also he doesn't take his shirt off anymore when he scores, disallowed or otherwise. That's important, I think.
When he has a bad game, he has an absolute. He is over. He's over. I don't think there's very often where you go, oh, Richarlison was, wasn't awful, wasn't brilliant. I think for me, it's either feast or famine with him. He's
it's like for our older
shocking.
viewers. It's like Ricky Villa. When Ricky Villa had a great game and he was on it, he was fantastic. When he had a stinker, he stunk the stadium out. Right? Connor's dad would know. Yeah. Kerry would probably
Connor's dad.
know.
I never really watched Ricky Villa. That was sort of like early days. I've only seen videos and stuff like that, and probably only see the better stuff from it, Dave. But
you probably saw it on your Betamax back in the day, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Raziak was just bobbins constantly. I'm trying to. Armstrong, maybe, like you said earlier, Dave. Armstrong was a bit like that, wasn't he? He was literally. He had periods where he was knocking them in, and then if he wasn't scoring, he was really doing absolutely nothing. But anyway, goal disallowed, and that I'm sort of thinking, oh fucking hell, can we get some else? But Archie Gray pops up with a goal from a corner. Are we, Connor will know this, the stat man, or you know, you get to find out about stats. Are we the team that scored most goals from corners in the Premier League?
We're up there.
We got to be
I
up
don't
there,
know
haven't we?
I don't. Yeah, there you go.
That'll do for
I
us.
think
Let's go
Arsenal
to-
might be up there as well now, given the last month. But yeah, we're up there. We're up there.
Yeah,
Let's go top 3.
yeah, that'll do.
We're
We'll go
definitely
top
in the
3.
top 3. Yeah.
But Connor, that was decent hit corner. Well kept in by Kolo Muani. Richarlison once again, and Gray's there to stick it in. And great moment for him. Obviously, first goal for Tottenham, first Premier League goal. And what you thinking at that point, mate? What do you think?
I thought it was a great corner. Those corners are really difficult to defend because of the whip and right as you say, and Muani and Richarlison both did well. That was probably the only thing that Muani did was winning that corner and then winning the header because he was. I thought he was abysmal. He didn't look interested at all. Either I didn't think. It was a really.
Can we
really
talk
poor
about
game.
Muani now?
Yeah, well,
Yeah. We might as well.
yeah. Go on then. Go on, Dave or Connor. Who wants to?
Well, Connor, you carry on about Muani. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
him?
yeah. I think. Look, I mean, I think we said a few weeks ago, and to quote myself, I said Muani's a footballer, right? And I think we'd seen bits from Muani, and I think we'd all given him a bit of the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that he'd had, signed right at the end of the window, dead legs, then the broken jaw. It's been very disjointed his start to his Tottenham career, and he'd shown bits of hold-up play and all-round contribution that was decent, particularly when he was playing in the middle.
Yeah,
I think he's now just had 2 absolute stinkers though off the left against Liverpool and in this game.
yeah,
And there is part of you that's going, that goal scoring instinct seems to be lacking. I mean, the header against Liverpool sort of sums it up, doesn't it? Where it sort of just
yeah,
plopped back into Alisson's arms. And he has missed a couple of chances. And I mean, as it stands, you wouldn't say that he's shown enough to say that this is a player that you'd want to sign, and it does look like he's going through the motions a little bit right now.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer him, and I prefer him playing in the middle up top as a centre forward than on the left. Much prefer that. I like the way that he played off the back, the final man, linking up play, etc., etc. And that I think is much more of his strengths to play in the middle than on the left. But that means at the moment Richarlison plays on the left, and I don't think he's. I mean, if we're going to talk about Richarlison being effective, well, all things are relative. But he's less effective on the left than he is in the middle. And I'm using the word effective very loosely here, ladies and gentlemen. And Richarlison did a lovely little header for the goal as well.
Yeah.
But I just think with Muani, I think he looks a better player than missing Solanke. I think that if he gets a goal, I think that will kickstart him. But I hate to use the word vibes, but I'm gonna. I'm not getting good vibes out of him over the last few matches. Whether he's kind of realised I'm in a shit show here. I don't know if he's been called up recently to the French squads. I mean, that's his aim. He wants to get called up to the French squads.
He was called up just before he'd even really had a decent game for Spurs, and then he broke his jaw, didn't he? And they called him straight up, and that's a good French squad. I think, I don't know what but like he's now out on the left. I'd imagine he's picked up, and I'm coming to Spurs to play number 9. I'm going to be the number 9. This is symptomatic of all the things that going on at Spurs. He's playing on the left because we haven't got anyone on the left. And like you said, Richarlison scoring a few goals. And if you're going to play Richarlison, play him. You've got to play him centrally. Because Kolo Muani probably is, if he's switched on, can do more on the left. So we're playing him on the left because we're playing Richarlison down the middle, but we want to play him. He's stuck on the left. Like you said, Connor, he's had a couple of stinkers, and now he's probably thinking, this is a shit. Do you know what I mean? And of how we've been playing, then he's probably in his head going, this is a shit show. I thought I was coming to better than this. And it's probably just that, like, just the whole symptomatic of everything that's sort of wrong with the Spurs squad and how we're playing in that. Because he's a better player than he's shown. When he did play down the middle, like you said, Dave, there was some really good moments, like against PSG, the goals he scored there and leading up to that game, is link up play and stuff like that. He was sort of in the bit of a role, and then he ends up back out on the left with Spence, and Spence has been better actually lately, but obviously he's Donna Cullen's saying Wagwan.
What? I can't
We
see
got
any
Donna
of the
Cullen
comment.
in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, look.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Dave.
Hello, Donna.
Not her son.
Is it bring your dog to YouTube today? Oh, welcome, Donna. Hello. How are you?
But
How's the ends, Donna?
I feel a bit for Kolo Muani, but definitely, as Dave said, at this very moment, I'm not getting good vibes off him, more so than he's not a good player.
Let's walk into Moani's shoes for a moment. Can we be empathetic for a second here?
Yes, let's.
He was great at Frankfurt. I think he won the Europa under Glasner.
Yeah.
He got his big move to PSG, I think, on the insistence of, was it Mbappe? Right? It didn't work out for him. He goes off to the old lady of Italian football. Did all right. Thought he was going to get his move there. Sat on the beach in Rimini all summer. Didn't get the move. Has to come to Tottenham. He's then asked to be in a tactical formation of escorting your teammates off at half-time to a booing stadium. And he's probably sat there thinking to himself, where has it all gone wrong?
Where is it all gone wrong?
He was decent in the World Cup for France, wasn't he? He's not a bad player.
He was in a World Cup final.
He is the type of he is the type of player for where we are. When we signed him, I thought that's the type of player we should be looking at. That's the type of player we should be aiming to get. This guy can improve us and is gettable for us. But at the moment,
but he's not feeling that in a reciprocal way. So there you are, Gibbo, in Worcester going, what you say, Zach, we need him. This is the type of player that we need. But he sat there in his big apartment on the Champs-Elysees going, I'd love to go go-karting in Tottenham. I don't think so.
No. That's what he's saying, mate.
He's saying, je ne regrette rien.
So,
this is half the problem, isn't it?
Go on.
I mean, just quickly. I mean, we're gonna talk about it when we get onto the windows, but like, this is the problem with, what other Big Six club goes out and loans players?
Yeah.
Man City don't go in a transfer window, do they? And go, oh, do you know what? We'll pick up a couple of loans this window, actually, because that will really kick us on to trying to win the title. And the problem with it is it's a panic. Last day of the window, opportunity. He wasn't fit. Then because he's alone, you have to expect that he makes an instant impact, and you can't. In the way that if we'd signed Muani and he was playing like this, you go, well, he's shown glimpses. We'll give him time. We can't afford to give him time because he's fucking off again in the summer, right? So you need a loan to make an instant impact in a way that you don't with a transfer. And this is the problem with the way that we act, even in a window that was a bit better in terms of the caliber of player that we targeted. It was once again opportunistic and no clear plan. And again, this January, we're now being linked with players like Goretzka, who Goretzka was a good player 4 years ago. But again, it's
great in FIFA.
But it's another example of, Bayern Munich want to get rid of a 30-year-old. That's who we should sign in midfield then.
That's been quashed.
Why haven't we
though,
got a plan to go
today,
and spend big on a big midfielder?
That's been quashed today. That
I did see that.
This is like we were talking about earlier. That came last day of the window, didn't it? Solanke was struggling with that ankle from pre-season.
Ankle.
Or what? There was something not right with Solanke, and I think it come to a point where we had to. So that's a different issue within the club and the people not doing what they should do. But but Goretzka, that's been quashed today. But but you are right, Conor. We've done that so many times, it just becomes the norm that we're just like, fucking, here we go again, down that Dan Juma. No, do you know what I mean?
Dan
But yeah,
Juma, Konchevsky, Gedson Fernandez.
but the thing is, mate, it's like he was never going to be fit. It was always going to take us time to get fit. But what we did want to move on to was obviously we talk about the goal, Archie Gray. Great to see him score. I'll come to you, Dave. What did you think of Archie Gray's performance on the whole?
Wasn't that great, but I'll give him far more leeway than Lolo Samways next to him. All right, I'm sorry. I just listen. I say it again. When we signed him in Nkulu, and he came on and he did some close control, and I went, "Ooh, look at that!" Right, and up until he got possibly the second injury, you see the old clips of him, and he gets the ball in tight spaces, and he turns on the sixpence, and he does run. I'm completely ignorant of any comments that are being made tonight. So if you want to slag me off, you might as well do it. So Bentancur. I don't honestly. I don't want to see him play actually anymore. I was very much against the Paulinho and Bentancur pivot. I'd actually probably rather see Paulinho, Gray, and Simon or Bergval as a number 8. I want to see Bergval as an 8. For some reason, we've been using him on the left and as a number 10. He's not that. And what's the latest on Bergval's injury?
We haven't heard anything, have we, Connor?
No, I haven't.
That means someone joked we haven't heard anything. He's out for 2032. He's probably right.
That's a groin injury. I'd say.
It was great. Yeah, to answer your question, which I didn't. Gray didn't have a great game, but I'm prepared to give him more leeway because he's got
100%.
a bigger ceiling than Lolo and
Mm.
Sarr. I mean, I think I'd start him instead of Sarr easily because I think Gray's got Gray shows match intelligence, game intelligence more, and he didn't have a great game, but who do you have next to him? Lolo Samways.
Connor, what are your thoughts on Archie Gray?
I think the problem is I think we've discussed it before, but I think Gray and Bergval are judged harshly because they are given expectations that they shouldn't be given at their age, right? So neither of them, Gray and Bergval, should not be being asked to play in the first team as much as they are, unfortunately, because of the recruitment philosophy that was adopted by Enoch. We're in this situation, right? Why they're being asked to play so often. And I think both of them, for their age at 19, are top talents. So people say that they don't show it. They don't show anything. They're not good enough. All of this stuff and all of this crap about, if you're young, if you're playing for Tottenham Hotspur, it doesn't matter how young you are and all of that crap. But that's just not the way the world actually works. I mean, Modric was playing for Inter Zepazic when he was 19, right? Caicedo was still playing in the Ecuadorian league. Except you can give examples of these types of players that were never, Dembele was still playing in Holland, blah, 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 blah. So I think the problem is that what we need to do, in my mind, is, to be honest, they're the only two I'd actually keep out of who we've got in the midfield. And I'd keep them because neither of them count towards squad places, and therefore you may as well. And as Dave says, they've both got high ceilings, but I'd be happy for all of the rest to go. That, Bentancur, Basuma, Sarr, and Paulinho, I wouldn't necessarily sign on a permanent either. I think you could sign him if you wanted him as a squad player in certain games. He's good to come on, if you want to tighten things up like yesterday. But I don't think he should be starting for us, to be honest, if we want to get to where we actually need to get to. So we need to do serious work in that midfield.
Yeah, I think the midfield is, and this isn't a slight on Bergval or Gray, I think our midfield is awful. We can't get hold of the ball. We struggle to protect the back four. We struggle to create for the front four. It's bad. It's not great. And I think it is a lot to ask of, even though Archie Gray and Bergval have done really well, and I think they are good players. There's lots of potential there. I think they are. I don't know the right word to use here, but I don't think they are the players to be playing week in, week out to get us where we need to be. They need to be having plenty of minutes, and they will get plenty of minutes, but they aren't the guys to be doing that. they've still got so much to do, and they're still not at that level. They're still even Bergvall. Like, my son loves Bergvall, but there's so much about him that you see the good bits, but there's some of it where his game is so lacking. But and a lot of the time, we don't want to say that because people will think you're being negative. It's not. It's just that they are so young. They are just not right to be carrying that team to where we want to go. I think Paulina is top draw at what he does. Now, I'd be playing him and I'd be getting some other players now. Oh, the rest of them, I'm not bothered about. Your SARS, your Bentancurs. I'll be getting some real quality. Basuma. I'll be getting some real quality. You can get on the ball and start dictating the play, and then giving Bergvall in Gray minutes at the right time, using them right, and just getting some real quality in there. Because Paulina, I know it's a hipster thing to say that he's not as good on the ball as the others, but at the moment, for where we are, if we can get somebody, say like a Ruben Neves, if we can get someone like Paulina who can break it up and then give it to Romero, who's good with the ball, or give it to someone like a Neves, and then they can set the front four up. That's what that's what we should be doing. He can give that front four a platform to go. It's just at the minute when he plays, whoever's with him hasn't got enough in the locker, whether it be Gray or Bergvall, just because of it's not really their game, or like what's the word I use for a like a spent Bentancur. We need some real quality in there. If you watch Wharton yesterday, he didn't even have his best game, but he's getting on the ball and he's just laying it 1-2 touch, getting it out wide, getting them away straight away. It takes us an 8. They just do not do anything. That midfield, and we talk about left wingers and other positions. I think that is that engine room is absolutely key, because it just does not make the team function at all. It's really.
I mean, I hate to break the news to you. If you think our midfield is shit, our front three is not much cop either.
No,
right?
It isn't.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I think that I hear what you're saying about Graham Bergvall. I mean, as you're correct. It's having good, experienced players around them.
Yeah,
who are top quality, right?
They should be playing week in, week out.
I have been waiting. It's 33 minutes. I was waiting for the first mention of Wharton. So let's be clear about this. There is no way on earth he's coming to Tottenham. No way. Okay?
Yeah.
He ain't getting him. It's not happening, right? Because, and I've said this before, where the market that we operate in, for good or for bad, is when Wharton, he came from Blackburn to Palace, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
Eze went from QPR to Palace. Madison, way back when, went from, where did he go?
Norwich to Leicester.
Coventry. He was at Norwich. Was he at Norwich?
Coventry to Leicester, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, so that's even, and I know I get shouted at for this, Harry Maguire from Hull to United, and we bought Davinson Sanchez instead. I'd have preferred Maguire. That's
he went
the
to
market.
Leicester, didn't he, before? Was he at Leicester? Hull, Leicester.
Sorry, Hull, my apologies, Hull, Leicester. That's the market. Decent championship players. And who did we get? Ashley Phillips from Blackburn. I think Wilson Phillips would have done a better job, and we haven't seen him, right? We just got... I mean, unfortunately, Connor, I did do a bit of a Christmas clear out, and I have binned my change for Tottenham poster. I decided to get rid of it. I thought the war's over, Levy's gone. So, I just think that the midfield is shocking. The front three is shocking, and kind of like, defensive backups isn't great. And let's finish off the grumpiness. Our goalkeeper's shit as well. Because you know what you said about Richarlison, guys, about 20 minutes ago, where it's heads in the game or not. The same applies to our goalkeeper. And unfortunately, and I don't know much about football, but when you're kind of deciding to find out if your goalkeeper's on it today or not in the first 5 minutes, that's not a very good place to be.
In the one place you need a calm head, we haven't got a calm head, have we? But Connor, just on that, if I can just, before we'll go on and then we'll come back to all these.
Yeah.
What do you think to this scenario? I know what Dave's saying, and probably my head tells me he's right, and lots of people are saying that. But you go to Palace, right? They want Brennan Johnson. Wharton's going to be leaving at some time. You say to him, Brennan
Sorry.
Johnson plus 50 or 60 million then. And you say to Wharton, we've got a contract here. There'll be a release clause for you in this contract of a certain amount of money. But we're happy to be, as we've been for a long, long time, maybe we'll be that stepping stone for you to move to the next club. But if we get to where we want to be and we're true to our promise and we get these other, and we'll spend money and raise our wage bill like we are, you might want to stay here then. But I think we go to him and we try and say, I'd rather see us have a go than say no. Like I haven't got a problem with the Semenyo. What's going on there? They've asked him but it sounds like we were prepared to offer decent money and pay him decent money. He's just like, no, I've got the option to go to like City or Liverpool. I want to go there. Go and do that with Wharton. If he says, look, that's not for me, I'm going to do that, then fine, you just move on. That would happen to anyone. But I'd rather us be in the conversation and have a go. At least we're starting to look serious then. If we've got to rein it in a bit from that point, fair enough. But I don't see that that's something we can't do.
Yeah, I think the challenge you've got is without rehashing the past, is the time to have done all of that was when Pochettino was here.
100%.
We were actually competing at the top, right?
Because at that wrong time.
We were a super attractive proposition for players, right? Because were
even
we
in
to
the
pay
summer,
wage, were we to actually to spend? And unfortunately, we didn't. And there's been this gradual decline over a number of years, which has now made us, by far the worst proposition of the big six, even if we were to pay the wage. And I think the problem we've got is without, if we got brand new owners in, say you had Qataris buy us and the Qataris come out and they go, look, we're going to spend whatever it takes to make Tottenham win the league and the Champions League. Players would be willing to jump to that project because they know that it's definitely coming. Whereas now they still need to take this leap of faith that it is coming with ENIC, as we as fans all doubt is actually going to happen. Players would be in the same boat. And I think we maybe could have still sold that lie a little bit in the summer.
Yes, definitely.
Because I think in the summer you could have, the story was, do you know what? Well, last year we had loads of injuries. Ange was crap. We didn't care about the Premier League. We wrote that off. We're now back in the Champions League, and look at us. We're going to go for it again. And I think you could sell it. I think the problem is this season has now started poorly again. Yeah. And you're sitting 11th in the league. It's looking like you probably, there's a good chance you're not going to get even European football this season.
No.
And so it's a really difficult sell to players. Now, this is why I think, players like Wharton, the other thing with Wharton is, right, he's English, plus he's got something that English midfielders very, very rarely have, and that's that ability to run a game and play the pass forward, to your point, Gibbo. And I think, at the point that Wharton comes available, they will all be in for him. Yeah. I think United will be. They need a midfielder desperately. He's also from that part of the world. Liverpool, he could slot into. City, he could slot. There's lots of teams he could slot into. So for me, I think in order to get us back to the level we need to get to, we need to almost sign that next tier, the best of the rest. And it's probably abroad where we need to go. Do you know what? We've got a lot more financial muscle than any of these clubs abroad, other than PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Let's go and sign their best players and hope that we're not competing with Man City and Liverpool and Arsenal for those players.
It's like if we go abroad into Europe, we kind of need someone who's got a lot of contacts, a big file of facts in Europe to do that job. Can you think of anyone?
Dave, why don't you expand?
Europe, or just in one country? Just in one country or across Europe?
Beginning with the letter I and ending in Tali, do you mean?
Expand on that for us, Dave. What are you thinking?
I've been doing plenty
Where do you want to take this conversation?
I've been doing plenty of expanding on good Christmas cheer over the past week and more besides. Well, let's talk about the ever loyal Paratici, because word on the street, and I noticed that he was spotted sat next to Vinay on the weekend at the Palace, is he's off to the team that's challenging for relegation to Serie B.
I don't think there's a lot of challenging, mate. I think they've won one game.
Move on. What he wants to leave the go-kart track, gorillas in the summer, and the Star Walk or whatever it's called, and the hotel, and head off to the bottom of Serie A. Where let's take you back to 2 months ago, the couch conversation that we had with Paratici and Langer. And Vinay saying that it's good that we want them to challenge each other and challenge me. That's the sign of a good, healthy culture. And he thanked the fans and the club for standing by him for indeed his ban from football and the fact that he did receive a conviction from Italian courts. And he's going because word on the street is that he's been franked out. He's been franked out and he presented a list of signings that he wanted, apparently, allegedly. And Frank and Langer have said no. So the man with the file of facts, the contacts for Syria is on his way. And that all leads me to think, can we get... I've been supporting this beautiful club, as you have for many years. Can we get even more comical than... And every time it surprises us that we've become more comical again. So what do you think about that, boys?
Go on, Connor.
I think we spoke about it probably at the time that Paratici was hired, that it was a bit of a baffling decision, right? I think the fact,
Yeah.
look, I think in the summer, one could argue Levy was still knocking about. You didn't have as much time, whatever. I think the fact that the Lewis family, though, after that summer window has finished, didn't take the opportunity to get rid of Langer because he's shit. Also, not re-employ Paratici because of Paratici's criminal past and the fact that he's vastly overrated. And
You
just
can't say
hire.
that. That's
No, I know.
verboten to say he's overrated.
I know.
Ooh.
And just hired one competent sporting director who wasn't a criminal is baffling to me, particularly if you think that you want to usher in this new era. And what's the most important role in the whole of the footballing structure? The sporting director. And then you do this nonsense of co-sporting directors with two people who are not good enough. And as I say, one of which is a criminal. And now we're seeing this questionable morality and loyalty play out in front of our very eyes. It is just an absolute farce once again, and an absolute joke. And I think the worrying sign for me is, and we were touching on it backstage, the rumor on Twitter is that Levy had offered him the role before he'd left. And again, what would we have to pay? 3 months' notice or whatever it is, 6 months' notice, even if it was a year's salary to get out of that contract we offered him? Why the Lewis family didn't and Vinay didn't do? I think this is a real red flag against them. And are we operating any differently? Because again, it strikes me as it being a short-term decision associated with cash flow and money rather than what's right for the club in the longer term. But the worrying thing for all of us, but just to finish the point, is again, this is 2 days before a window is about to open, or 3 days, and we're in a situation where our sporting director, who was only re-employed permanently 2 months ago, might be leaving. It just beggars belief that this goes on at this football club, and as you say, it's just an absolute soap opera once again.
Well, it's like trying to get your head around this, isn't it? Like Langer should have gone in the summer, shouldn't he? When Ange went, Munn, he should have gone at the same time. He's not done a good job. This is a guy that we employed who was at Aston Villa when they got rid of, and when they brought Unai Emery in, he wanted somebody that operates on a higher scale. So they got Monchi in and they demoted Langer. And he stayed there.
What a shit decision that's turned out to be for Villa, hasn't it?
And he stayed there. Then we took him off their hands. We've kept him at Spurs, hadn't done a very good job, and we still kept him in situ when we got rid of your Munns and your Anges. We then proceeded to bring somebody else in and demoted him again. Really, it's been dressed up, but he's been, you sort the kids out, basically.
Yeah.
And he's been demoted again, and he stayed. He's chosen to stay. And then we've got rid of, and now the bloke who's come in, who sort of took over him, is going. So where are they going to, this like,
I mean, this
it's just like above them. It's who's making these decisions. And one thing, this isn't a stick up for Levy, but at least we used to know. Look, the buck stops at Levy's door. He's the top guy. decisions will be made from him. Who's making decisions now?
Well,
Who is making decisions at Tottenham Hotspur now?
I mean, the famous quote about Levy from someone who used to be on this channel, and of course is the host of the Ghost Friday show that we never have anymore, said that when Levy, you got to give it to Levy, when he makes a mistake, he rectifies it quickly. And I'm like, I was sat there a time going, there's about 20 years of mistakes. Is that, we're handing it to someone, we're giving someone credit for saying, every time you fuck up, but you sort the fuck up out really quickly. Well done, you. What a compliment that is.
I'm
right?
not
That's
saying
great.
we're
I am
worse
putting
off.
words in your. I'm putting words in your mouth now, aren't I?
Yeah.
And
But I'm
does
not
mean
saying
I'm
that.
gonna
But
am I getting I'm going to get second yellow in a minute.
No. My point is, with all of this,
Yeah.
and this has come out, and obviously, even nothing's been. They're not going to come out and say anything. At some point in the very near future, I think we'll probably get told he's leaving. He's left the club. Blah 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 blah. But when you look at it from a fan, if you're looking at it before, you'd be saying like the. But now, where are we looking at? Who are we looking at telling us this has happened? Who are we looking at to make a decision? Are you going to move Langer back into that role and keep it? Are we going to bring anyone else in?
Yeah.
Who are we looking at?
Who are we looking at communicator. Denied the great communicator. I see that comical Ali Gold has come out with the propaganda at this time of the year with we've got a war chest. We've
always got a fucking war chest of 150 million.
That war chest has featured more than a fucking Pirates of the Caribbean movie, right? We've got a treasure trove, me hearties. We're gonna break that ceiling. We're gonna break the ceiling. We're going to break the ceiling. We're going to bring all these players in. And by about middle of January, and when's the Villa game? That's about a cup game.
Right, for something, isn't it?
Yeah, 14, something like that, isn't it?
Oh, and we haven't brought anyone in before that Villa game. And if we lose, it's not going to be pleasant at the stadium. I don't think it's not only the players need that Praetorian Guard. I think the board of directors might need one as well. And change for Tottenham's over. So, gents, maybe we should form GFT, Grump for Tottenham. Let's start a new movement where we just turn up at the stadium and be grumpy. Oh, we've been doing that for years anyway.
I think we've gone. I think we've completely tailed off the game, which isn't a bad thing because really the game was a stinker, wasn't it?
No, but we should quickly say that. Let's quickly talk about Odegaard. Did all right when he came on.
Odegaard did all right, and we can lead that on. We can lead that on to like what we need. Or what we like, what we need is lots and lots of quality, decent players,
decent footballers.
And no matter how much we say about some of these players, we're a little bit low to them. We need some better players, definitely. Manager needs to do a lot better, and we need some better players. It's a perfect storm of mediocrity at the minute. But Odegaard came on, but I think another lad, he's 19. I don't think he's good enough to lead that attack, but he's certainly good enough to come on in games and do what he did yesterday, which is ideal. Yeah. If you want to be up and if you want to be higher up the league where we'd like to be, you want to be bringing someone who's been doing that all game on the left off and bringing Odegaard on to give him a lot more of it, don't we? So, I don't have a problem with that. And I thought he did look sharp. Trouble is when he played them, I don't know how it just still looks a little bit lightweight. And when you play him, if you one game, he sort of comes in and he looks all right for the one game. But when he's playing 2 or 3 in a week, then he just starts to look, he can't replicate that form over a run of games. It's sort of like sporadic, isn't it, with him? He's like an impact sub at the minute. That's how I'd see him.
I think it's conviction with him a little bit.
Yeah.
I think once he knows he's got the better of a fullback, he did it. The other great cameo he had was against United, where he changed the game. He knew he had the better of the fullback in that game, and then he ripped him to shreds. And the same thing happened in this one, where, and when he's got that conviction to do it, I think he can. But and again, this is another. It's a bit like Graham Burfell. This is a 19, 20-year-old kid who's quite clearly got talent. Yeah. But again, too much is big. As you say, this is what we should be seeing from him. You've got your established left winger, and then he's coming on and doing these 20-minute cameos, and you're going, "Cool, he looks a great little prospect." you know, but we're asking him to be the main man.
And if your
He looks
main
better
man,
with-
and if your main man needs a break, say maybe Kudus on the other side. I've got some reservations about Kudus, but say you Kudus on the other side. If you've got the same on the other side, then you say, right, we're playing fucking whoever knows today, someone who we should be better than. Say if it was like when we played Brentford at home, it was awful. Then he should be good enough to come in and start that game, and say to him, just get at him, just get at him, take them apart, have a good go in him. And I think he can do that, but it's that consistency, and he's just not at the set. For me, it's the same as Graham Bergvall. I don't think it's there yet for us to rely on him week in, week out.
No, I think he looked better. I mean, I said this before. He looks better with Destiny behind him, right? The cameo he had against United, Destiny was behind him. I thought he did all right against Liverpool. Leeds away, he had some good spells. Destiny was behind him there. But Destiny is, I'm sorry, if we got an offer for him over the summer, I'd get rid. Can't rely on him to keep fit.
Can't stay fit.
Can't stay fit. And what's the point? He's been here, 3-4 years? And I'm sure that, again, if we were a top-notch, decent YouTube channel, we'd automatically put on the screen his appearance percentage over the last 3 to 4 years. But we don't. So I'm saying that he's almost turning into he's not as bad as the Italian Ryan Sessegnon, but he's getting there, right? And so he's another Paratici signing. He's not really. I like Destiny.
He hardly ever
plays. He's a good player, but whenever he comes back, understandably, he needs a few games to get into the rhythm of the thing. Then he looks good, and then he gets injured, and he's done that now for 3 or 4 years. So Destiny, Sarr, Brian Hill, Emerson Royale. The list goes on with Paratici.
And Juma.
Dan
Galini.
It isn't just
Richarlison.
It isn't just. It isn't. Listen, mate. If people on here have supported Tottenham for a long time, so that isn't just Paratici. We've signed more abject, mediocre to poor players like that for as long as I can remember now, under various sporting directors, under various managers. That is just a running theme. Recruitment, we've never been and obviously that comes down to the top brass as well. Isn't it? We've never been able to push on and we can't get him, so that's game. But Destiny, I think, is a really good player.
I like when Destiny, but he's never fit. So
that leads on to, mate. We've got Jed Spence playing on the left, who's a good player. We've got and then you look at it. If you get rid of Destiny, then we've just got 2 right backs, but one of them can play left back. We're short everywhere.
No. We're gonna. I'd get that geezer from Fulham who's just come back from injury. What's his face? Robinson.
Yeah.
Get him in. Go down to Craven Cottage. Say to Hugh Grant, Lily Allen, here's 25 million. Plus, you can have Basuma. He loves some balloons. There'll be good balloons around Fulham, so he can have that. And then off he goes there. I mean, it did make me laugh about 10 minutes ago, Gibbo, when you said that we will offer Crystal Palace 50 million and Brendan Johnson, and we get warned. Can you imagine Glasner's face? I mean, Glasner's going.
Well, there's rumours. There's rumours that Palace are interested, isn't there? That's why I know that.
I know that. And I'd love it, right? But can you imagine Glasner's face, right? The most successful manager in Crystal Palace's history. And what's the name of that chairman? It's not. What's the name of that? It's Parish. Parish walks into Glasner's office and, Morgan, Oliver, good Morgan, V. Gates. I've just done this great deal. Here's Brendan Johnson and 50 mil. And by the way, you're saying goodbye to the best midfielder probably in the club's history. Can you imagine that conversation? That's why I was laughing.
That's why he's probably going, mate. But look, I'll tell you what. Like we've discussed all those. Let's have a little bit on what we're hoping. It's the hope that kills you. What we'd like in the transfer market, and then we'll just finish off with a little bit about. Obviously, we got to talk about the manager because there's a lot going on. So we're going into January. I think we all know we need we need some fucking better players in. Whatever happens, whoever's manager, this thing ain't moving forward unless we improve that squad. Now, I said in groups I'm in the other day, I think we need in this window at least 3. And I know it's different, but in my mind, we need at least 3 players. I'm going to get an attacking reinforcement. I am 100% getting the best midfielder I can available. I've heard talk of Ruben Neves, whether that's true or not, or it's just talk. But he upgrades that midfield in terms of technical quality, which is what we need. Just some quality midfielders. I'm getting, and I think, like you said, a left back or a centre back who can play left back. I think they are the absolute musts that we need to get. I think we could get all 3. I think if and this is the hard bit. If this is true to their sort of word and the things you're hearing that they really want to push on, I think there's deals out there to be done to at least see us through to the next window. Then when we can get rid of some more and then buy players who maybe even make those types of players squad players. But I say at least 3 we need in.
So if we're going to shoot our 150 mil load early, sorry to use such a metaphor, January's not the best time to do that, right? On the whole, okay. Now, if you get Neves in, I would be too unhappy with that on the basis of the fact that he's proven in the Premier League, but he is going to have to get his fitness levels back up to Premier League level, having played in Saudi for 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
That's one. Up top, what do we really need up top? We probably need someone who can play left up top and shove Moani back in the middle and rotate with the man who deserves a new contract, Richarlison. So who's that? I don't particularly. I'm not sure I want the Savinho from Man City.
No.
Because
we don't want another player who doesn't assist or score goals. That is the last thing we want.
We don't want another top 6 reject, to be honest with you.
Mate, I know we won't go there, but that Marmouche, right, he could come to Tottenham and he could be the next guy. I think he is a really good player. He scores goals. He's got something about him. He can play off the striker. He can play with a striker. And I'm not saying he's anywhere near that level, but I get sort of like Son vibes from, not prime Son, but he's a good player. That is the type of player I think would be a good sign. Savinho is.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's rumours, but for me with Marmouche, I can't personally see it because I just think if Haaland gets injured, they don't have anyone who can play up top.
I spoke to a Man City fan on Christmas Day, a guy I've known for years and years, been to loads of away games in Europe and watches City and that. And he said he was like Savinho, absolute rubbish. And I probably hadn't seen him for a few months. He was like absolute rubbish. When he comes on, it's just like game over. This bloke runs about, straight lines, doesn't score, doesn't assist. And he said the trouble we've got with Marmouche is it's exactly the same as what they had with Alvarez. Sometimes they do not want to stay just to be Haaland's backup. They've got bigger ambitions to
why don't
go
we
and do that.
whack some money on the table for Alvarez then? Why don't we go to Atletico and say, is how much they pay for him? 80, wasn't it?
80.
Yeah. 80. Here's 85 up front. Here we go. You could have that. We get Alvarez.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Connor? Because I'm thinking with Ruben Neves. I know what Dave's saying, but he strikes me as the type of player. He would probably have to get up to speed because there was talks that when Ivan Toney went to the England camp, they could tell that he obviously hadn't been playing at the top level, whether that's true or not. But the way he plays, he's not fast or anything really fast anyway. He sort of gets on the ball and uses the quality he's got in his brain to get the ball around. That's my thing with that. But what would you be looking at?
I think with Neves, quite clearly he's much better on the ball than any other option that we've currently got in midfield. But my concern with him is similar, which is I think there is a physical and a mental drop off when you go and play in Saudi Arabia, where you
Yeah,
effectively are saying that I've retired from professional football and I just want to coin some money for a few. And you know, fair
I
enough,
get that.
because the
Yeah,
money is generational wealth. But at the same time,
Mm.
it would worry me, and you could very much see him coming back, and then we're all going, "Oh God." The signs were there. That would be
yeah,
my concern with it. And for me, I think, look, to quote the fan advisory board minutes, January is a difficult window to do business. So we do know that, right?
heard that a few times,
It's
haven't we?
no one's ever signed anyone in January in the world of
No, no,
football.
no. Van Dijk didn't move to Liverpool. Bruno Fernandes didn't move to Man United.
Remember
We
our
didn't sign
shavings?
Kulusevski.
I'll,
Um,
I'll say
but look, you can. I mean, we need a centre midfielder desperately, for
100%.
sure. And I mean, in my view, we need to sign a big money signing in centre midfield. I mean, I was looking,
Yeah,
over the last
yeah.
3 years, the only centre midfielders we've signed on a permanent basis is Graham Bergvall at a time when, right, Declan Rice has been signed, Caicedo, Tonali,
Yeah.
Reinders,
Paqueta.
Szoboszlai, the list goes on and on and on and on. So we desperately need to sign a big money signing in midfield. And that's where I think, if you can't
Would
get
you take
Henderson,
Conor Gallagher?
I would.
no.
I
I would
would.
Okay.
again. I think it's not because I don't think he's an improvement on what we got. I don't think he's exactly what we need. I think we need a midfielder that can really
Yeah,
dictate the play on the ball. And I also
Yeah.
think, you know, there's two different arguments, right? Goretzka and Gallagher and those types are better than what we've got for sure. No one's
yeah,
arguing that. But every signing does come with an opportunity cost, right? Of if you sign this man,
Mm-hmm.
it means you're not signing someone else. And so for me, I'd be looking at Edison at Atlanta. I think they would sell him if you offered them 50, 60 million.
Yeah.
They're basically the Brighton of Italy. They sell players often.
Mm-hmm.
Coney,
Romero was
who
there.
Romero was there. Coney, who's at Roma, again
yeah,
centre
Mm-hmm.
midfielder, really really good on the ball. They signed him from Mönchengladbach. They're apparently linked with Dragusin as well. So I think there's
Oh
midfielders
yeah.
about that you can sign, but I think we've got to go 50, 60 million. I think it needs to be that caliber of centre midfielder we need to sign. And then we need a
So
left back and a left winger. For me, a
yeah.
so you've
striker,
gone.
I would wait until the summer because I don't think you're going to get a striker of the caliber that you
No,
want in January.
And
I
with
agree.
Richie, if you got don't get me wrong, he's not. But if you do, he proved it he proved it against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Snuffed some out in the box, and against Palace, if you get and like last season, if you get balls across the box,
Mm-hmm.
he can score those types of goals. He can get in those areas. But you're right, Connor. But it's like, yeah, I mean, but
For me,
it's like we're going to get rid of Basuma. Will probably go, so we'll fill that void. But I don't think
is that a
I'd
void?
say we need. If it was me, I'd be. Now we've give for some reason Bentancur a new contract. You'll get some money for him. You could
Yeah.
probably. Well, we paid 15 million. You'd get at least 20 for him
16.
if you sent him to Italy. But I'd be
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of I think Sarr you'd get some money for. I'd be getting rid of Sarr, Bissouma, and Bentancur, and I'd be bringing two in.
Yeah,
I'd be bringing
I agree.
somebody who can pass the ball like Connor's been talking about, and then like a Conor Gallagher as well, because he's a little bit of a hybrid, isn't he? Supplemented with your Graham Bergvall, and obviously we got Simmons to come back if he
And he's
decides he wants
English
to
as well,
stay.
which is helpful.
Yeah,
I
next season. But I think you're right. But I think probably Connor.
And I want a new
if he's on loan, if
want a
he's
new
the chance of getting him
goalkeeper.
on loan, we'll get him on loan.
Yeah, I want a keeper in the summer. I want a keeper.
So do I.
I want a keeper. I want a striker in the summer. But look, if on January the 31st there's like a signing session with Thomas Frank there and Richarlison, who's committed to us for another 4 years, it'd be like a new signing for me.
Well,
and on that bombshell, sadly, I do have to go to work.
Okay, I was just about.
Sorry about
shall
that.
we leave the? It's been quite a nice. Shall we leave the Thomas Frank debate for when we come back? Shall we leave that till after the Brentford game?
Yeah,
because I think Dave, I know you got to go. I was sort of like just quickly 2 minutes, Dave. I was in the camp. If he loses both games, he's gone.
So if
Now
he loses Brentford and Sunderland, oh no, Palace and Brentford.
Yes, if he loses Palace and Brentford, I thought he was gone. But now, he's 50% through that. I think he's probably. I've sort of in my mind. I thought the board were probably going to give him the rep. I think unless we were in real danger and it got really toxic, he'd get the season anyway. So I think he's probably okay for a bit longer now. But what are your thoughts? Just quickly, a minute each, lads. What are your thoughts on the Frank situation?
This is the Ferg moment. Over to you, Connor. Go.
Yeah, I think look, I've been underwhelmed by him so far. I don't think he's done as well as he should have, but I do think there's bigger problems, and I think we are seeing ENIC and Levy's legacy playing out in front of us of structural decline over a number of years and terrible decisions that have been made over a number of years. So I do think the problem's bigger, but I don't think he's getting as much as he should be getting, even from this squad that is poor. But that being said, I would give him longer just because I don't see the benefit, particularly in sacking him now. I don't know who you would get. I think it looks bad again. So I think he's got until the end of the season, and I think we will need to start seeing some more green shoots than we are currently seeing for him to then get a second season.
Dave?
I think it's very telling that you kind of giving Frank a two game by two game. If he doesn't get through these 2 games, he's got to go. That kind of reflects kind of. It's not. I look. We were all in favour of appointing him. I think the 3 of us,
100%,
weren't we?
Yeah.
And the underwhelming point is the main point here, because I thought 1, he'd improve players. 2, his in-game management and response to tactics and things like that would be good. What makes me laugh is that everyone's having a go at him at Cochrane for looking at their iPads all the time and this, that, and the other. Whereas they were all rude about Ange because he wouldn't know how to plug in an iPad, was the kind of inference, right? So the fact of the matter is, he's inherited an absolutely very poor squad, and I'm bored of people saying that we've got a good team. Blah, blah, blah. No, we don't. We haven't got a good team and we haven't got a good squad. But in terms of what he can do and what he can influence, he could do a hell of a lot better. So I think that given that there really isn't any alternatives, the fact is, if we have a deep FA Cup run, if we qualify for the Europa, then I think he deserves a second season. If he doesn't, and we've got no Europe whatsoever, particularly in this league and the inconsistency, I'd probably be having a long think in the summer as to, well, do we really want to do this? And then that leads you to think, do you want to spend the best part of 150 million with a manager who may not be here next season? And that's where we are. But believe you me, if the World Cup starts when? June, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if you honestly think that it's a good idea to get Poch back, I think that's just a load of old trash.
No, but I wouldn't put that past the Tottenham board.
I can see that.
Nor it's going to happen. And honestly, have you two seen the film Shutter Island? You probably.
Yeah. I love Shutter Island.
Yeah. Being a Tottenham fan sometimes for me feels like I'm Leonardo on Shutter Island. Like everyone else is fucking mad and I'm the normal one. But then we know what the twist at the end is. So Poch, I don't want him back. I don't want Kane back. Okay, sorry.
Ultimately, with this Thomas Frank thing, there's not really any excuse for how bad we are to watch. My problem with it all is I'm not one of these people who say give people play at this player should have more time, the manager should have more time. We haven't got time. Just don't. It's a fucking myth that people get time. They don't really.
Correct.
The tough thing with the Frank thing for me is what turned me, because I think he's a nice bloke, which I think is probably could be his downfall. And nice guys finish last and all that macho bollocks. But the football is so bad. I can't. Maybe Wolves are on a good team, but I watched Sunderland Leeds before we played, and they were both playing some good football, both of us, and Leeds
Yeah.
are below us, with what you'd call as similar or lesser squads. The
Worse.
football
They've got
is,
worse squads. I
yeah,
mean,
the
like we've
football
got a poor squad, but we haven't
is
got a worse squad
terrible.
than Wolves and Fulham and these teams that we've, look
I
terrible.
don't think there's a worse team in the league to watch than Tottenham. And that's not
But
me being hyperbole or me going over the top, because what we're doing on here, I genuinely believe, not trying to be contrary or spark debate or whatever. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I do not think, and it's always heightened when it's your own team because you see them more. But I don't think there's a worse team in the league to watch than Spurs.
No,
I think I think that's fair.
Then take us back to last season. We're playing just as badly last season as we are this season.
Yeah, which is a different conversation.
Similarish kind of injuries, and here we are now. It's like not. It's the same again. I got to go, but the last thing the last thing I'd counsel Mr. Frank is I would get whoever our new head of marketing or comms is. I'd sit down with him and say, you know that word loyalty. I wouldn't be using it in your press conferences. Just saying.
Connor, thanks for joining. Dave, thanks for joining. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining. I'm sure we'll be back on. We'll try and do something after the Brentford game, lads. I know we've got a big game. See how that goes. Or after Sunderland. We'll see how we go.
We'll be back next Monday night at least, I think.
Yeah, but we'll definitely be back sooner rather than later. Thanks for joining.
We shouldn't be having staff meetings during the show.
No. And everybody, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.